Hi, welcome back to my channel. I have shared on this platform my struggle during my menses, and it was because of a health condition I was battling with. That was fibroid. So about 4 years or 3 years ago or so, got to the hospital. I sat in front of the doctor. We booked the date, everything was fine, and before I would leave the office, he said when I cut you open during the surgery, he said that there's a possibility that he could cut my intestines, and I was alarmed. And he said that these things are in the consent forms that you people sign before surgery. So for the doctor to have told me point blank that A, B, and C could happen, I felt unsafe to go and lie down on the theater table for him to, and that scared me out of the surgery. So I decided to use the traditional method. So this herbal medicine is good, this herbal medicine is good, and I kept moving from one herbal doctor to another, one to another. And after every session, before I would change from herbalist A to herbalist B, I would go for a scan, and the sizes were almost the same. There were no improvements. So I decided not to. So I discontinued with the herbal treatment entirely. And then because I shed blood a lot, I decided to take more of iron. And what was happening to me was like the tax system abroad. It's pay as you earn. With my menses, the more iron I take, the more I shed during my menses. The last time I went to the hospital, the doctor looked at me and said, your HB is very low, so I'm going to prescribe another iron supplement for you. But then, because the underlying factor is there, you cannot continue this cycle, because every month, besides the turkey berries and the other things that I consume, I still take iron every day. So she said that once the underlying factor is still there, you have to consider working on that. And it dawned on me that the time has come for me to face what is facing me. Not that I was afraid at that time. As at last year, I wasn't afraid, just that I didn't have time. For the surgery. So per my schedule, I decided to have the surgery after Christmas. So I left the hospital. At that time, my HB was 9. No, my HB was 7 point something, 7 plus, which was very low. So I prayed a lot. I took the iron supplement, and I was taking turkey berries like crazy. I increased it, and I was praying. So fast forwarding, Vlogmas came. I joined the train because I already had videos. So on the 10th of December, I came home, went to the hospital, and I was booked for a surgery in January. But when they checked my HB, it was still low. So they said that they would boost it to a certain height before surgery. So they prescribed another Totima. Yeah, for Totima, as I sit here, the sight of Totima disgusts me. I can't even, the smell. I think my system is done with Totima. I am fed up. My system is fed up with Totima. So I was prescribed Totima. I took 2 boxes, one morning, one evening. A week to surgery, Kotoko came. I had my menses. Everything went again. So it was like I was fetching water with a basket. The day before surgery, I went on admission, and thankfully I went to the theater, the surgery. Before theater, my HB was 9.2. 9.2. They gave me 3 pints of blood, making 12.2. Beloved, I left the hospital with 7. 7 pepe, nothing more, nothing less. So that should tell you how serious the surgery was. So the surgery, which was to have lasted for at most 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes, lasted for more than 3 hours. By the grace of God, the surgery was successful. I came to the recovery ward, and finally on the 4th day I was discharged. When I came home, I still cannot eat much. I was eating in bits. I was fine. If I was 16 before surgery, I think I had reduced to 15, size 15. I was told that I could dress the wound in a nearby hospital, but I did not do the surgery in Bekwai. But I decided that I would travel to where I had the surgery, and with the dressing, I was doing it at the at their wound dressing session. Back to the first time they opened the wound, I had blisters. They used a special plaster, that black plaster that you saw. I will insert a picture here for you. So they used that plaster, and the first time that they opened the wound, there were blisters all around. So when I came home, when I went for the first dressing, there were still blisters. So they decided to change the plaster to the normal plaster, and that normal plaster, by the 3rd day, the biggest of the blisters was like this much. So they changed that plaster to a new plaster again. So the first one was black, and then they changed to the normal plaster that we are familiar, everybody is familiar with at the hospital. That one did not work, so they gave me another brown, which did the magic for me. The blisters that formed from that plaster were small, very, very tiny. So that aside, with the issue of the plaster, I called I think the junior anesthetics and then one of the surgical nurses. I had established a rapport with those guys. So I called them that I want a new plaster, and then they said that I should be coming to the theater for dressing. So the first time I went, they opened it and they asked me, where have you been doing the dressing? I said, this hospital. And they said, oh, so do you take your bath the normal way? And I said no. And then they said that the wound is becoming infectious. I said wow. So they said that okay, I should not go to their wound dressing session again. Before I was discharged from the hospital, I could blow the trumpet and also download. But when I came home, I was still playing the trumpet and downloading. You know the bab, you go bab soon. So on the 4th, I think 2 weeks after surgery, I realized that I could not blow the trumpet as much as I used to, and I could also not download. My stomach was not bloating, but then I realized that my stomach would rather be rumbling. It will be rumbling, and it will be like there's all of a sudden it will be filled with gas, and my wound will be paining me. When that happens, anytime that happens, Ozitochi comes to mind, and I'll be praying to God, guys. I will be praying to God, Father, I cannot take this. You know this place is Ghana. What happened to Ozzy cannot happen to me. They told me from the hospital that because of everything that happened at the theater and my condition, before I take any drug, it should be prescribed. So I called the doctor. I think I WhatsApped the doctor that this is how I am feeling, and he prescribed a drug for me. So with that drug, I could now download freely. but the freely was not entirely freely, because anytime I have the edge, I'll be shaking. And mind you, my wound was also fresh. So whilst on the toilet seat, I'll be pressing my stomach, guys. And by the third day of going through that, I had reduced from 15 to say 13. I got better. I got better. 2 weeks or so after that ordeal, I started feeling sick again. I tested negative to typhoid again, and guys, this time around, I was doing on and off. Everything that goes in comes out. That one also lasted for, I think, 2 days, and within those 2 days, I could not eat. All I could take was water, malt, and Fanta. And that also, at that time, I had increased weight a bit, but what I went through that 2 days or so also brought me to about size 11. Thankfully, I was given 6 weeks excuse duty, and I thank God for that. So as I sit here, the 6 weeks has expired. It expired today, so it means that I have to pack my bag and baggages and go to work. Guys, that is how it has been. But before I go, I want you to bless Mami Sewa in the comment section. Mami has been that angel that God brought me. The day I went on admission, I was crying. Not that I was afraid. I wasn't afraid, but then I was just sad. I was crying. Mami came, patted me, wiped my tears, went to school. After I was discharged from the hospital and Mami saw me, she came to my bed and said, "Auntie Ma, means why me fi school ba me show." That is to say that I should not cry. When she comes back from school, she will take care of me. Is it not soothing? And then there were times that I will not say there were, because even this morning she did it. There were times that I would be so down, I would be so weak, I would be so overwhelmed. I would be overwhelmed by everything going on around me. At days she would hug me and go. There are days Mommy will hug me, kiss me, and pat me. There are days she will hug me and hug me deeply, and then she will just be patting me and say, "Auntie Ma, means." And though I will not be crying, no, but she will know that this woman is not well with this woman. So also remember that when I want to get up and I do all the skirmishes, and I will be on my knees trying to get up, then from nowhere I will see her with her tiny hands. Mommy will just come and give me her hand too. Before I finally take leave of you, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being there for me. Thank you for your messages. Thank you for your constant checkup. Thank you for your prayers. Yes, I am here because of all that you people have done for me. I am super grateful to you. Chop kiss. And until I see you in my next video, I plead that whenever you say a prayer, do not forget to say one for me and my household. And I leave you with the peace and the message of the Most High. Peace. Say shalom and chop kiss.